How's everybody doing today? Good? Hi guys. Pleasure to be here again with DVG. I'd like to thank them for having us out to kind of have these talks. I think last year we got to talk a little bit about AI. That trend's continuing. But here today we're going to talk about trying to gain some workflow efficiency, whether that's with AI, whether it's just with better tooling. So what we really want to get into is identifying what is the most expensive asset that our customers have to deal with. Whether that's DVG customers, SNS customers, in general, in production and post-production. Anyone want to take a stab at what costs the most money every year in your budget?
Time.
He nailed it. Time is by far the most expensive asset. And that's because time scales. Every time I ask someone a question, I'm taking 2 people's time. If we have to get into a meeting, I'm taking 5 people's time. And so how much time do we waste in production, in post-production? How much time do we have to wait on that side? There's lots of different ways to waste time. There's a few games that I find particularly useful for wasting it, if you're going to do it. But a recent study, a 2025 study, found that editors waste up to 25% of their time in production and post, whether that's waiting for files to be copied, whether that's searching for files, digging through drives on shelves, transferring stuff from production into post, tracking it over time, delivering it, waiting on review, waiting on approval. That equates to 520 person hours per year, per person. That's a lot of time. Hopefully we're all paid by the hour. So let's talk about kind of what gets in the way. Where do we lose time? Well, sharing individual hard drives, moving stuff around, copying the same thing multiple times, taking a drive from one person to the next, waiting on network latency, not having our NLE, not having the ability to work because the network just isn't fast enough, which takes us back to using drives and wasting more time. After that, finding it. How many of you know where all your files are? Yeah, that's what I thought. Me either. I do know, as an editor, where they are while I'm working with them. I know for about 3 months. After that, it's going to take me a minute to find stuff. What about having to learn multiple systems? We have to worry about post-production. We have to worry about camera systems. We have to worry about encoders. We have to get things over to playout. We have to figure out how to archive things. Do we train all of our employees on all of those systems? If we do, that takes time. And then, of course, fees. These aren't necessarily time wasters. These are just expenses. Expenses in having to license all these different products to do very specialized things. We live in an age of specialization. As we add new systems, additional systems, each one comes with its own cost, its own maintenance cost, its own training cost. So what we strive to do at SNS is bring as many of those things into a single product and leave it with an open architecture to be able to interact seamlessly with other products you may have to bring in. So we're going to talk about collaboration. We have a high-performance central storage system called EVO. That's going to allow multiple editors to all work from the same file, no more copying. It's fast enough for real-time editorial on scale, up to hundreds of users in raw codecs. We're going to talk about not dropping frames. Again, the system is designed, while we may use standard protocols, we optimize them to be better for sequential I/O, a la media. We don't open random files in our workflows. We open big files, and we want them to play. So a standard IT system might be more optimized for database hosting and IOPS. A video system needs to be optimized for low latency, high performance streaming. Asset management. This is how we find stuff. You guys might not know where your files are, but you generally remember when you shot it. You have an organized file folder structure on some central storage that'll tell you, hey, this was day 1 of this project, but you don't necessarily have a good way to search it. With our included MAM, you're going to be able to search not just by file name, not just by standard folder structure, but by harvested system metadata automatically from the camera. When was that file created? What's its frame rate? So I can, again, continue to distill. And the best part about what we do with the open architecture here is the ability to search files that don't live on us. Because we have this open architecture, whatever storage you may have, whatever other systems you may have, a playout system, a recording system, can all be indexed and searched by the MAM running on your post-production storage without the files needing to be ingested to the MAM, without the files needing to move through our storage. It's a layer that can sit on top of everything. Next up, automation. If you have to do the same thing every day, let a computer do it. Computers never forget. They never get tired. So whether it's automated transcode, automated ingest, automated file movement, copy, archive based on a rule set, SNS has tools built into that central storage server to be able to accommodate this in a very easy UI with no scripting, no third-party things, and most important, no fees. No fees for moving your data across your network. We have a weird business model in 2026. You do own the thing that you buy from us. I know, it's a crazy idea. But if you don't pay us ever again, everything keeps working. Nothing turns off. And of course, unlimited users. When we talk about scaling systems, anything with a per user fee is going to scale its cost. So not just are we wasting time in the head count, we're having to license software for that user and manage those licenses, creating a whole new suck of time for our administrators and things like that. So by tying into Active Directory and providing unlimited licenses with our hardware, those costs can be all but eliminated. So how do we do this? We do it with EVO. That's the high performance shared storage that comes with our EVO suite of software. We do it now with the AI suite. Watching video takes time. And if we get a new employee and our organization predates that employee, having them have to go back or understand our tagging system, that all takes time. With EVO's new on-prem AI suite that you can purchase from SNS, we can watch the video for you. It has 12 different models we'll get into here in just a little bit. And it's not just about computer vision. It's not just about watching video. It's about understanding the context of what's in that video. We're going to do this with Outpost. Outpost is our new review and approval tool. It's integrated directly into your storage. We're really proud to bring this to the market with no hidden fees. Many of you may have different cloud review and approval systems. Many of you may have different cloud devices. I'm sure you've discovered in trying to use those that there's a lot of hidden costs with that stuff. It's not just the user fee. It's the ingress fee. How much does it cost to put the data there? How much does it cost to store the data there? How much does it cost to egress? How much does it cost to take the data out or to work with the data that is there, the video files? And then we have Trio. Trio, much like Outpost, we're eliminating hidden fees from the cloud. Trio is our S3 compatible cloud bucket. This is globally distributed. It has one flat rate low price that has no hidden fees. Doesn't cost you any money to put it there. Doesn't cost you any money to take it out. It only costs you to store it on that side. So as I said, it all starts with EVO. First, we have to have a place for our working files. Where are we going to store these? Where are we going to be able to play them from? So EVO becomes the foundation. Our family here consists of online systems, fast enough for playback. Nearline systems, not as fast, but really scalable on cost. And then, of course, even our modular, our mod and EVO Prodigy up there, these can be simple software hosts. If you have other storage, as I said, our software is free with any piece of our hardware. So you can use that to index existing storage and grow with the line over time. It doesn't matter where you start, but a solid central storage foundation and central database is the foundation of any workflow as it scales. So we can scale out nearlines to multiple petabytes in a single namespace. All of our systems come with native 10 gig. We can add 25, 50, or we can add 25 or 100 gigabit Ethernet with no problem to fitting any network need or any network backbone. And all of that software I've been mentioning is included with every piece of hardware. So as we run through here, you can kind of see all the different shapes and sizes. What's really cool about these is they can also work together. The more EVOs you have, the more you can distribute their processes, whether that be indexing, whether that be transcoding. So if I get 20 files brought into my system and I have 5 different storage systems or storage nodes, each one of those systems can all be transcoding pieces, individual files separately. So I don't have to wait for one box to finish. This is going to save us a ton of time if you're dealing with bulk ingest. Nothing worse than having to wait to get something done. So let's talk a little bit about the EVO suite. That's going to include the Share Browser MAM, which we've alluded to. This MAM isn't just a separate piece of software. This is integrated directly into your production application. So whether it be Adobe Premiere, After Effects, Apple's Final Cut, Blackmagic Resolve, there are panels for the MAM, and the workflow is the same across any of those NLEs to get your footage in. So whether you hire an editor who's familiar with Premiere, whether you hire an editor that's familiar with Resolve, the front steps in the remote workflow would be the same for all of them, saving us a ton of training time. In fact, metadata from the share browser MAM will enter the application in the way the user expects it. In Premiere, tags go into the description field. In Resolve, they become keywords, same as Final Cut. So the concept of our MAM is to use it to find files, get them into the production and the post-production process, and then get out of the way. Our MAM doesn't strive to be essential. It strives to be easy, to save on training time. Next up, we have Slingshot. For those of you who are users primarily of the systems without a ton of technical engineering knowledge, Slingshot has a very easy user interface. It can automate file copies to or from backup to S3 to other SMB storage to FTP, SFTP, even something as simple and common as Dropbox. EVO can watch a Dropbox folder, look for new media files, auto-download them, and alert the post-production team that they've arrived. Could be integrated with Microsoft OneDrive, so a variety of different solutions. For those of you with lots of stuff on your belt today who sit more in the engineering side of the world and want to get down and dirty, what Slingshot really is a RESTful JSON-based API that can call our transcoder, that can call streaming services over NDI, that can be used to call the database to do tag-based automations. So if you want to write custom scripts and integrate things more directly to your workflow or other disparate tools, same thing. We don't charge for API access. You do own that thing that you buy. So you can build your own custom workflows on top of the system and on top of the database at no additional charge. Last but not least, Nomad. Nomad is a remote workflow utility. It's, as I mentioned, share browser transcodes files. It's doing that so that you can search high bandwidth files like ProRes 444 or ARRI RAW or BRAW or RED inside of a web app. It's doing that for web review. What Nomad allows us to do is take an edit proxy, maybe transcoded to like a ProRes LT, and extract that from the database in a path-aware way so that you can use path-based proxies in a shared remote workflow. So I'm not downloading whole files. I'm not having to replicate raw and relink media. We're actually going to automatically set up a dual link between high-res and a proxy workflow, so an offline-online workflow over any internet connection that you want to use. So you can see here, this is one of our customers. Having everything in a central place doesn't just save that time. To his point, it saves frustration. What happens when the producer comes to you and says, hey, do you remember that shot we did 10 years ago? You know, the one with the person doing the thing? You guys still have that, right? Well, the ability to quickly search against that metadata and limit all the assets that I've ever indexed, whether they be on my online storage, whether they be in my archive, whether they be sitting in a drive in someone's desk drawer somewhere. The ability to search that, watch that file via the proxy in the database, and then figure out where it is, what the path is, whose door I need to knock on to get that drive, is a huge frustration saver. So we mentioned AI here. We were pleased at NAB and IBC last year. We took some time to show what can be done with AI at our booth. We didn't release a product. We wanted to hear from our customers, from our users, from our dealers, from our engineers, how they want to use AI. Where is it helpful? AI is a really broad term these days. It is not just, oh, ChatGPT, or I can search for video analysis. It's audio, it's general intelligence, it's coding, it's all of these different things. So through that market research and through feedback from our customer base, we were able to pin down about 12 different things that people really wanted to do. And most of it had to do with cataloging and searching existing large content libraries. So whether that be in an archive, whether that be, again, external drives, whatever the case may be. And it came down to a few. It came down to translation. Transcription and translation. I want to hear what's in the video. I want to be able to search it by the time code that's in the video, and I want to flip it to other languages if I need to for language localization. So with our translation engine and transcription engine, you can actually analyze the video, get a full transcript with timestamps. You can search for specific semantics and words. Give me all the video of this person talking about this topic. Search for it at the time, go to it in the marker, and even export an SRT file. The most important part of our AI is that it runs completely on-prem. It can run on hardware that you already own if you have the right GPU. It can be disconnected from the internet. The other problem, I'm sure, for those of you who have looked into AI at all, your legal department all of a sudden has a lot to say about how you make video and what you're doing. Is your data, is your intellectual property being used to train a third-party AI? Well, if it doesn't touch the internet, you know that it's not. What countries, what databases, what models is it hitting? Are you using something that might be unsafe? Again, if it runs on-prem on your own hardware where you can disconnect the internet, then you know it's safe. It stays within your environment, your data, your model, your distillation of your data. We also do facial recognition, image description. For those of you in broadcast, we can do OCR, logo recognition. Show me every place this sponsor's logo popped up in the last 3 hours for a marketing audit. All of that can be done with AI. Semantic segmentation. I want to know and have a keyframe of where the topic changed. So it's not just one thumbnail for the file, it's numerous keyframes that allow me to jump to different places. All of these are included at no cost. You buy the hardware, you buy the software license one time, and this gets into a whole nother part of the AI pricing and time wasting that we're going to talk about in a minute, and you get all of these models. So it's your hardware, it's your software, run as much video through it as you want. Next up, we'll talk about Outpost with review and approval. There are a lot of cloud-based review and approval tools. Some of them integrated into NLEs, some of them purchased by NLEs. All of them have either a per user cost, a per terabyte cost, or per gigabyte cost, as well as cloud render costs. I have to put my high-res up there. It has to make the proxy that someone can review. Outpost solves for all of that. First, we have unlimited users. We have real-time feedback. So if I'm in this chat window and someone's reviewing, I'm going to see their feedback as it happens. Outpost has a plugin for Adobe Premiere. If I'm on an edit, I can literally click a button, export that sequence for review, and watch the reviewer's time code-based markers come back on my timeline and make adjustments. I can clear their comments, and of course, they can submit for final approval as well. All of this done with public and private links. So if the security level isn't high, and I don't care if I send you a link and you want to forward it to this gentleman over here, and it's okay that he looks at it, that's great. If it's my Super Bowl commercial, I may not want to let you do that. So I can also create a password protected link that I'm going to send to you into your email. You're going to have to authenticate in against a code, and if you forward it, I'm going to get an alert. It's going to say, hey, this other gentleman got forwarded. Did you want to let this person have access? So we can do this either in a secure or open way, depends on the content and the client and the need. So while this integrates directly to our asset management system with EVO and the EVO suite with Share Browser, it also, as I said, integrates into Premiere. More important, same thing, unlimited users, flat rate cost. You guys might ask me what that cost is. Anyone want to guess? No? $99 a month, unlimited users. Because we use the on-prem hardware to do the transcode for the review proxy, we don't have to worry about cloud-based transcode costs or processing fees. There is no ingress, there is no egress, and we mean it. If you have 100 users, it's $99 a month. If you have 99 users, it's $1 a month per user. Double that, it becomes 50 cents a month per user. So don't get kind of stuck, I would say, into these scaling costs, where it's like, well, if you had a person, you got to have more money. No, you don't. It can be flat rate. That's what we do. Same thing here with Trio. So Trio is our globally distributed S3 compatible cloud, right? So it can be across 87 countries. You can use this, again, natively within your EVO. We can set up rules. Trio is now a target for that slingshot automation that I was talking about before. So send to Trio, right? If the file's 100 days old, copy it up to the archive. But again, flat rate, maintain searchability through Share Browser. This is $6 per terabyte per month. That's it. If you've got 500 terabytes, 6 times 5. We do have a regionalized model as well. It's a little more expensive. Obviously, we're limited on the number of data centers and stuff that we can use. But yes, we do have a regionalized model.
You said $6 per terabyte?
Per month.
Per month. So if you have 500 terabytes, it's 6 times 500, not 6.
Right, well, I was saying, look, you add zeros, the math gets harder. If I say 6 times 5 and I add the zeros on the back end, it's $3,000 a month is what it's going to come out to be. Or no, 300 a month? 6 times 5. See, once I add the zeros, I'm host. 6 times 5 is 30 plus the 2, yeah, $3,000. But yeah, let's make it easy. We'll do base 10 math. If you had 100 terabytes, it would be $600 per month on that side. Or a petabyte would be $6,000 a month, right? We'll make the math easy. But most important is no egress fee, no ingress fee, right? It is just you're paying for the storage as you use it, and it's scale on demand, it's elastic, so if you get more, great, you just pay more on that side. It's predictable, let's put it that way. So obviously all of these tools integrated into one platform that you guys can learn how to use, that's easy to use, that looks like the Mac Finder or the Windows Explorer, something that's very native, is native inside the production application, and doesn't require a huge learning curve from your users, doesn't just save you minutes, it saves you hours. So whether we go across the media lifecycle in its entirety, whether it be production or post, these are the things obviously that are particularly important. You'll notice there at the end, support. Things break. Users break things. New software breaks things. Not necessarily on the server, but within anything in the environment. I'm sure you've all got auto update turned on all of your production workstations. That's always a good idea. So when it breaks, what stands behind you? And that's the SNS support team with our product. We carry a 99% customer satisfaction rating within our support team, within the ticketing system. So we are there, and we have 24/7 guaranteed 1-hour response time support levels. We have standard support levels. Even more important in this day and age, we have a free tier of support for the life of the product. You will never call SNS to get help and be told, sorry, get a credit card first. We are going to help you, always. Next up, review and approval. What do we do after it's done? How do we know it's safe to go to air? Where do we check it? Ease of use is important here because reviewers are often executives. Executives are not video workflow experts. That's not their job. Their job is accounting, budgeting, strategy. So the interface has to be easy. We need to not worry back on that budgeting that just because I added someone, I also increased a bill, because then accounting will get mad. And their job is not video technology either. So unlimited users allows for a little more freewheeling and being able to send out review links and provision users and things like that, private and public for security, and of course for the editor, keep it right in the NLE. None of us want to leave our production application to have to go do something else just to get review and approval. Let's keep this easy. And then what do we do with the content when we're done? I think you've all seen the news over the last 10 years, 15 years with the streaming wars and everything else. Content has never been more valuable. People sell 50-year-old content for hundreds of millions of dollars. Entire libraries of content are purchased, whether that be something as obvious as Marvel or something a little less obvious, just an old library's content, can still sell for millions of dollars. So we need to make sure this stuff is safe. We need it integrated. And an archive is, again, only as good as your ability to find it. So if you don't have a MAM, if you don't know what's in that archive, it might as well not be there. I always tell the story, I have this box in my garage. It's moved to 3 different houses with me. I have no idea what's in it. I'm 100% confident I need it. One of these days I should probably open it and visually index it as a reminder. So don't let that happen to your archive. Make sure it's integrated. SNS has been in business now for 27 years. We're not going anywhere. We're a private company, privately funded, so you don't have to worry too much about a buyout or anything crazy or VC. It's technology you can trust. We use the tools that we build. Outposts exists because we used a different review and approval tool, and we didn't like it. So we had to change. We said, well, we can build our own. We did that. We have an army of developers. We have hardware engineers, software engineers, sales teams. We exist in, like I said, over 80 countries the world over. So it's not just a small company. It's not just a regional company. It's someone that can help you wherever you meet, wherever you sit. We've also been privileged to win the last 5 years, at least 1, if not 2 awards at NAB and at IBC as well. So it's something we take a lot of pride in our software development and our hardware tools. So this slide kind of speaks for itself, but the last one, why we do it, most of our engineers have come out of audio facilities. We were actually born out of a multi-million-dollar recording facility. They come out of video facilities, production departments, education. They were instructors for NLEs. So we build the tools that we always wish we had. We also provide feedback buttons in every piece of our software so that our clients can tell us what they need, what's breaking, what makes their life harder. Boy, it'd be great if it did this. We even provide the ability to give us your contact info if you do have a feature request. We'll contact you if we build it. So we're highly engaged with our client base always. You guys have to deal with stuff every day. We want to know what you think. Things change. You know, we do our best to stay ahead of that, and again, we work in the industry, but no one knows what a client needs better than a client. So here's another, this is from Maestro Filmworks up in the Midwest. We talk workflow with our customers. We don't ask you how many terabytes you need. I mean, eventually we do, because that's part of it. But we talk about what production systems you're using. I'm excited that I'm being followed, I think, by Ross Video today, right, guys? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, cool. So Ross will be up here next. We actually make storage for Ross Video, the EVO Signature Series. And we do co-development with them to tie into production, because no one knows production and, you know, making things live better than Ross. So we're lucky to be able to work with them as well. And we tie into all sorts of different products out there. So as a reminder, your most expensive asset is time. Don't waste it. There's lots of ways to waste it. Don't buy too many disparate systems that you have to learn and maintain. Try to keep things as centralized and simple as possible, and certainly the EVO system will allow you to do that. So guys, thank you so much for the time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our talk here, learned a little something about our product. Sorry, I had you jump the gun there. And if there's any questions, I'd love to open it up now. What do you got?
Just out of curiosity, are you doing any kind of localized caching similar to what LucidLink is doing for elements that might be living in the cloud and need to be operational at a regional or a local site?
So we've found the simple answer there is yes. But we found generally grabbing the entire file at a low enough level proxy for reliability is a little more transparent to the user. One of the challenges you get into with caching technology is if it breaks, if the cache is interrupted while it's written, you have a corrupted file in your RAM. So there's some things to worry about there, some considerations, but we give you the ability to kind of do both depending upon what makes the most sense. In post-production, I would say generally having the full-length proxy in the same path is a lot more transparent to the remote editor and allows for the internet to go down in its entirety and keep working offline.
And you mentioned panels in Premiere and Resolve. Do you touch Avid at all?
There's no panel in Media Composer. We do have the ability to mount as the Avid file system, so if you wanted project and bin locking. The Share Browser desktop app, however, can be used to organize files in like bins and things. And then you could drag and drop all the files in those bins directly into Media Composer, allowing it to make its Avid media and do all the things that it needs to do. So yes, we do have Avid workflows on that front. Any other questions? No? Well, in that case, thank you guys so much for the time. It's been great. And again, thanks to DVG for having us out.